Just Cheesy the Podcast, presented by Just Cheesy Productions.
Hi there, I'm your host, Fondue. In this week's episode, we're talking planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yay!
We're going to learn about a cheese train.
Woo woo!
We're going to learn about cheese on planes.
Whoa!
We're going to learn about cheese in automobiles.
Wow!
We're going to learn about a cheese valise.
Cheese Louise!
And, of course, we're going to hear a very cheesy joke.
Joke!
All aboard the cheese train, episode 60 of Just Cheesy, the podcast. So cheesy, did you know that Switzerland has its very own cheese train?
Whoa, cool!
According to myswitzerland.com, since 2013, the cheese train has been running.
Wow!
The Train du Fromage travels between either Montreux and Chateau d'Ay or Zweisman, and I apologize, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly,
Of course not.
and Chateau d'Ay. Both routes are about 5.5 hours in length.
Wow!
And this cheese train is trying to answer the question how cheese is made.
Whoa!
The trip takes its passengers to Le Chalet Bio. This is a restaurant with an integrated show dairy
Whoa!
where they make cheese in the traditional manner on a wood fire.
Ooh.
So the passengers get to see how the tasty cheese is made.
Nice!
According to the website journey.mob.ch, the ticket includes, obviously, the train ride,
Right?
the cheese-making demonstration at Le Chalet,
Ooh!
fondue,
Ooh!
a souvenir bag, a visit of the model train railway at Le Chalet,
Wow.
and a visit to the Balloon Museum.
Neat.
The train runs every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from January 4th to October 29th.
Nice!
And ticket prices are $79 CHF for adults on second class, and for first class, it's $99.
That sounds so fun.
But did you know that Switzerland is not the only place to have a cheese train?
Really?
That's right. According to StrasburgRailroad.com, they have a wine and cheese train ride.
Ooh!
Paradise, Pennsylvania is the home to a 45-minute luxury wine and cheese tasting.
Ooh!
Cheeses are paired with wines from Walt's Vineyards.
Yum!
This trip is $65 per adult.
Wow!
So if you're traveling from the EU to the UK post-Brexit, what are the rules of what you can bring? According to the website ConnexionFrance.com, they say that there's a UK government website that states that there are no restrictions on items like bread, cake, biscuits, chocolate, pasta and noodles, packaged soup, processed plant products such as salads, and food supplements. But there are restrictions on fruit, vegetables, meat, fish, and dairy.
Aw!
It is possible to bring these items into the UK for personal use,
Okay.
and they're free from custom duties and VAT
Duty.
as long as the value is less than 390 pounds per adult.
Okay.
That's not the weight, that's the monetary value.
Okay.
According to this website, if you bring in a banned product and you declare it, they'll simply take it away and destroy it.
Destroy it? I hope they eat it.
Absolutely, I completely agree, Cheesy. Now, the opposite is not true if you're traveling from the UK to France,
Oh.
because the EU restrictions on food are much stricter.
Ooh.
Passengers are not permitted to carry any meat, animal-derived, or dairy products.
Aw.
So you would not be permitted to take cheese back to France from the UK.
Aw.
And since air travel is much more prevalent in the United States than rail,
Right.
I thought we'd look at the TSA's website to see what you can take on a plane.
Oh.
According to TSA.gov, you can take creamy cheese on the plane.
Ooh.
It's permitted in your checked bags, and in your carry-on, it must be less than or equal to 3.4 ounces
Okay.
or 100 milliliters. As far as solid cheese goes, it's permitted in both your carry-on and checked bags.
Nice.
And Cheesy, I think you'll really like this one. Your cheese grater
What?
is permitted in a carry-on and your checked bags.
Okay.
Cheese graters, not a sponsor.
Nope.
But if they were, their ad would go right here. Have you ever wanted to listen to the web?
Yeah,
Well, Newsly makes that possible.
they do.
They're an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android.
Super app.
You can listen to trending articles on the web on topics that you choose and get them read to you in a natural human voice.
What kind of topics?
Sports,
Cheese?
tech, business, science.
Cheese?
I'm sure there's even cheese.
Yay!
They even have an entire section for podcasts.
Are we there?
Of course we are.
Ooh.
It's one of my new favorite podcast apps. They even have digital radio.
Holy cow.
Just go to www.newsly.me to download it free.
Whoa.
Or use the link in the description. If you use the promo code CHEESY, that'll get you 1 month free premium subscription.
Yay, Newsly.
Now, back to the podcast. According to aphis.usda.gov, travelers from Canada to the United States may bring milk and other dairy products from Canada with proof of Canadian origin.
Nice.
They must have a package label, written documentation, proof of travel, origin of flight, receipt of sale, or a certificate.
Wow.
The website renardscheese.com actually gives a lot of good tips on how to travel with cheese in your car. They suggest keeping your cheese curds in a plastic bag.
Okay.
This is to ensure that the liquid from the curds doesn't escape.
Okay.
They recommend traveling with a cooler.
Sure.
They point out that spreads and shredded cheese will need to be kept cool because they can spoil a little bit more quickly.
Okay.
They recommend that you might take pre-chilled hot or cold bags or ice packs
Right.
if you don't happen to have a cooler.
Oh.
And they also point out that if you're only driving for a few hours, that blocked cheeses, if they're sealed and in the original packaging, that they could be okay at room temperature during the trip.
Right.
And of course, they mean in the air-conditioned portion of your car, not the trunk.
Right.
And they also give a cheese curd tip. They say within 24 hours of purchasing your cheese curds, they recommend not refrigerating them
Oh.
because they say that cold curds don't squeak.
Really?
Because they're so fresh, they say that they'll be absolutely fine at room temperature.
Aw.
And then after 24 hours, they recommend putting them in the fridge.
Good.
And according to a website called thepointsguy.com, they talk about bringing back cheese from vacation or traveling with cheese.
Okay.
They recommend having hard cheeses vacuum packed. They say that a lot of cheese shops are familiar with people taking their cheeses home.
Really?
And that they're familiar with helping tourists pack cheese for long flights.
Nice.
They say if cheese is shrink wrapped, it'll stay fresh.
Oh.
If they don't have a vacuum sealer, they suggest wrapping the cheese in foil,
Okay.
then a layer of newspaper,
Okay.
then folding it into a towel.
Whoa.
And they say this helps to keep it cool as well.
Ah.
This article also talks about investing in a cheese suitcase.
What?
In this article, Tanaya Darlington says, everywhere I go, I carry a little cheese valise.
A cheese Louise?
No, cheesy. A valise is just a fancy term for a suitcase.
Oh.
The article went on to mention a specific valise that had a room for knives, a wooden cutting board,
Ah.
and 2 extra pockets.
Ooh.
I was unable to find the one that they recommended,
Aw.
but I was able to find something on Amazon that I thought looked a little bit similar.
Really?
For $76.99,
Ooh.
they have something called a Picnic Time brand
Okay.
Sonoma insulated tote with wine and cheese service for 2.
Ooh.
This bag has insulated pockets for your wine.
Ooh.
It has an outer zippered area that holds a small cheese board,
Ooh.
and it has 2 napkins, 2 stemless wine glasses,
Whoa.
a cheese knife, a cutting board, a bottle stopper, and a corkscrew.
Holy cow.
I mean, this bag looks like it would work for a backpack.
Yeah, it
It could
does.
potentially work as a computer bag, maybe?
Sure.
So if you're in the market for a cheese valise, check out our show notes this week, and we've got a link to this product.
Nice.
Are you ready for a joke, Cheesy?
I sure am.
What did the cheese say before it got sliced?
No clue.
I'm on board. Get it? I'm on board, like a cheese board.
That's funny.
Yep, I agree. And it was a little bit cheesy. Thanks for listening to episode 60.
Thank you.
Planes, trains, automobiles, and valise.
Woo woo.
We look forward to talking to you next week.
Stay cheesy, everybody.